Hello and welcome to Cargo Masterminds presented by cargo.one. My name is Reggie John and you are watching Cargo Masterminds presented by cargo.one. This is our weekly episode where we bring leaders from global logistic companies for a one-to-one conversation. In 2021, technology research and consulting company Gartner ranked CEVA Logistics in the prestigious Leaders Quadrant for logistic players. Gartner Magic Quadrant evaluates global third-party logistic providers on their completeness of vision and ability to execute, positioning them in one of four quadrants: leaders, visionaries, challengers, or niche players. According to Gartner, leaders execute well against their current vision and are well-positioned for tomorrow. CEVA Logistics is a world leader in third-party logistics. It provides and operates transportation and supply chain solutions for large or medium-sized companies around the world. CEVA Logistics experienced specialists focus on seamlessly designing end-to-end customized solutions to meet the complex and rapidly evolving supply chain needs. CEVA Logistics is part of the CMA CGM Group, a world leader in shipping and logistics. My guest today is Peter Penseel, Chief Operating Officer, Airfreight for CEVA Logistics. Peter joined CEVA Logistics in June 2020, right in the midst of the global pandemic, to lead its global air freight operations. Peter comes with significant amount of experience in freight forwarding, working with DHL Global Forwarding and UTI Worldwide, which was later acquired by DSV. Peter joined CEVA Logistics from Qatar Airways Cargo, the world's largest cargo carrier, where he was Senior Vice President, Cargo Sales and Network Planning. Peter joins me to discuss the ups and downs, the highs and lows of leading the air freight operations for CEVA Logistics worldwide in the most challenging, but also very interesting times. Peter, welcome to Cargo Masterminds.
Thank you very much. And again, thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it that you are setting up this kind of interviews to share with the market. And we are happy that CEVA Logistics is one of your invitees on those occasions. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Peter. Peter, let's start with some of the recent development, and I would like to start with what the partnership that was signed at Dublin during IATA WCS. And it is the CEIV Lithium battery is the fourth CEIV program for IATA and the first CAV certification received by CEVA Logistics. What made CEVA Logistics to go for CEV Lithium battery and not the CEV program for pharma, live animals, and fresh? Pharma is big business for CEVA, if not fresh and live animals.
No, why did we brought it up to IATA? We know those CIV programs are there with IATA, but when I joined the company, coming from an airline where the lithium batteries were always having a huge discussion point on how to handle, and also coming to a freight forwarding site, I reached out to IATA. I said, we as CEVA are really committed to deliver accurate services when it comes to lithium batteries, but we want to make it kind of a platform where everybody must be involved, and not only some players. But that's why we said to, can we create together a full CIV program when it comes to lithium batteries and show that it is possible to transport it on a proper way. But there we need help, of course, from a lot of people within the supply chain to make it happen. And that's why we said as CEVA, let's spend time, energy to do it right, get IATA involved, and let everybody in the supply chain benefit from it, that IATA is taking a CIV program to the market.
Peter, as I understand, you go live with two of your stations. One is Hong Kong, the other one is Amsterdam. Is that right? And
yes.
Do you consider adding more stations to that list?
Yes. Yeah, we are currently rolling out stations like Detroit, Atlanta, Frankfurt, Incheon, Narita, Osaka, PVG are the next stations to follow when it comes to formal CAV certification on the lithium batteries.
Would you consider going for IATA CEV Pharma certification or any other CEV program?
Yeah, That is already on the scope, because we launched our pharma product and we are extending the pharma product that we are offering to the market with 44 stations globally, and in the majority of those stations, CAV will be part of the examination of the stations, as well, of course, on the full DGP compliance as needed to supply the pharma industry with the right equipment, but even more with the right people and the right training attached to that.
Let's come to more interesting topics of discussion. For the year 2020, you had 363,000 tons of cargo volume handled as against 416,000 tons in 2019 pre-COVID. 2021 is just 2 months away from its close. How is 2021 looking in terms of the volume handled?
The volumes are progressing at the right levels and exceeding our expectation. So we expect to overshoot 500,000 tons of air freight in 2021, and consequently, the contribution of the air freight product within the CEVA Logistics group numbers will have a similar growth. So we are delivering our expectation, and the expectations are challenging, as what I just also said earlier. We have ambitious plans as a group, especially with a very entrepreneurial chairman on the CMA side as our ownership, and transfer it to the management within CEVA, that we are trying to challenge ourselves with very ambitious plans, and so far we are exceeding those plans. So we are on the right track, and we keep pushing ourselves to the next levels and to create additional services to our customers.
Okay, on the same period, let's focus on the revenue contribution from the air freight business, which was 1.7 billion to the overall CEVA Logistics revenue of 7.4 billion, which is substantially more than the 1.2 billion revenue contribution in 2019 to the overall CEVA Logistics revenue of 7.1 billion. How are things looking in 2021, a year of capacity being extremely tight and demand on high with elevated freight rates?
No, I think, as what I just said, in line with our tonnage growth, our revenue growth is on a similar pace. So we are meeting our challenging targets, and in 21 we will deliver what we had set internally on delivery on the revenues as on the tonnage.
Air freight capacity has been under severe stress for the last 20 months that we can think about, and it is likely to stay that way for some more time. As a result, the freight rates have been very volatile and remained elevated. How have you been able to align your customers and your airline partners to the new reality or new market conditions?
Yeah, and that was a big challenge. Eh? We all saw that when the passenger aircraft were grounded in the beginning of 2020, 90% of those aircraft were not operating, and knowing that 60% of the global air volumes were uplifted by those passenger aircraft. Then you saw that the freighters became more and more important to subsidize. So the optimization of the freighters and the load factors on the freighters will increase. What we did as CEVA is come up with our own Sky Capacity program. That means that we have ACMI, our own freighter fleet, to optimize and to still deliver the service required. But also we were confronted with increased rates, and the airlines knew exactly where they could deliver and where not. And still, the rates discussions keep going on a daily basis because it's very difficult, and the commodity air capacity became a challenging market. So we see that there is a huge demand on capacity. On the other hand, it's when you need more capacity, it's sometimes very difficult to procure that on the levels that the market says what they are aware of 2019 versus the beginning of 2020 towards the ultimate peak in 2021. So still there is a pressure on the rates, and that will continue. But what we are trying to do is trying to be as consistent in the capacity that we offer with the conditions that we agreed with our customers.
Early this year in April, CEVA Logistics launched two new services. One is guaranteed capacity and the second is time critical solutions. Tell us how these have brought relief to your customers in this time of volatile markets of price and capacity. What has been the feedback from the market so far?
No, I think our customers reacted very positively on the fact that we have our dedicated capacity available, and on the time sensitive, that is a special product where we as CEVA believe that if we can offer those solutions, because time is more in the essence than always the cost. Because, for instance, a drilling rig, if it stops operating, it will cost much more than to get the right spare parts around the globe within in their time frame of execution. So there we believe that is an additional product, a solution that we bring to our customers, and the feedback and the guaranteed space and the rates attest were very, very well received by our customers.
Peter, were you able to launch the Sky Capacity program because you had guaranteed capacity on CMA CGM Air Cargo, the cargo airline launched by the group CMA CGM?
I think it's a very good question, because a lot of people then think automatically those aircraft will be operating for CEVA dedicated. No. CMA Air Cargo for us is an airline. Yes, it's part of the group, but we purchase capacity on a BSA basis, and for the rest, they are executing in the market similar as any other carrier. The Sky Capacity, the CMA capacity is part of that, but that's on a BSA agreement. But on the other hand, we also made agreements with airlines where we deploy full freighters, 747s and 777s dedicated for CEVA around the globe to create that Sky Capacity as what you just mentioned. And we saw that the need on capacity became more and more tight. So that's why last year, when we had the discussion, how do we serve the market well, we decided to come up with our Sky Capacity program.
How have the COVID pandemic and the subsequent squeeze on air freight capacity making you to readjust your relationship with your key customers? Are long-term contracts and BSAs things of the past? How difficult it is to get long-term contracts and BSAs with airlines now?
Yeah, I think that's spot on. The airlines are not as willing to make long-term agreements because they also understand that capacity, that commodity is a rare commodity. So also they want to have the best return of investment of deploying their assets. And that is a tough discussion on a day-to-day basis. On the other hand, we try to make sure that for the customers we are serving them on a day-to-day basis, that we have rates in place for an agreed time period. But yes, Reggie, that's not always possible with the carriers, and some are wanted to make certain deals, but deals for a year, where in the past that was much easier to negotiate. That is a tough thing in current circumstances.
Peter, one follow-up question to that. What is the normal duration of a typical BSA now? 6 months, 3 months?
No, sometimes even less than that. So sometimes it's on a monthly basis. With some, it's on 14 days agreement, but roughly it's on a monthly basis. That is possible, and that is not always easy to manage. On the other hand, it is also due to the pressure, especially on the combined carriers, belly and freighters, and the bellies not operating at 100% as in 2019. They need an income stream, and they are really firm that the cargo departments of those airlines kept a lot of airlines in the air.
Okay, on to another important topic of discussion in the pandemic and in the air cargo industry. Digital transformation of the freight industry in general has been so critical strategically, and it is the same with the air freight sector as well. How have you been driving technology adoption as a freight forwarder in the last 16 months since you took charge as head of Airfreight?
No, I think it's a key topic. The problem in our industry is that we are already discussing for the last 21, 22 years when Cargo 2000 was introduced. So the speed of urgency is not always there. But we believe that the technology aspect, and we are making huge investments in a new operating system, in creating host-to-host solutions with our suppliers, with the airlines, with our customers to reduce what we call waste from the supply chain to be more efficient and to have that efficiency related back into the service provisions that we have to our customers. So yes, the only thing what we set internally, we have to have a clear agenda. What do we want to accomplish in which time frame and who is responsible internally to make it happen? Because I believed too many times and in too many occasions, everybody said it was high on the agenda, but the execution not always at the right pace as everybody expected. And within CEVA, we are having that as at this stage, one of the highest priorities to roll out an efficient operating system with all the bells and whistles attached to that to add value to our customers.
You know, Peter, within digital transformation, supply chain visibility is becoming a key talking points now, as there is so much of disruption in the global supply chain on account of many factors, including the pandemic disruptions, port congestions to container shortages. What are the digital initiatives at CEVA Logistics that you are initiating to make sure that your customers have access to information relevant to capacity and rate at the right place and at the right time?
Yeah, at the moment is that we are investing heavily in a new operating system called cargo.one. That will be part of the steering of our operating performance within CEVA towards the market. And attached to that, we are launching what we call My CEVA. That's a digital platform when people have the possibility to book on a portal, including capacity, rates, etc., to be much more efficient. Also from their side, using the My CEVA platform to book their shipments and to execute and to communicate to their customers how to handle that.
How important do you think are the emergence of digital marketplaces that connect supply and demand with easy-to-use cloud-based API integrated platforms allowing easy listing and discovery of capacity?
Yeah, that path will move on because I think it's an evolution that is in the industry. Digitalization when it comes to booking platforms with airlines are using booking platforms. Nevertheless, it's also very important, and we know that in the years that I'm in the industry, that the people element is also still an important element. How do you execute your business? Which carriers are you making your agreements? How do you execute? But those platforms are facilitating a certain need, and I think that will continue because it is easy to do business, both for all the stakeholders within the chain. So I think those platforms will continue to come up with new services, new solutions, and we are keep utilizing all the possibilities to make it happen that our customers can trade with CEVA as easy as possible.
Peter, let's come to your different products or verticals or different industry verticals that you offer Airfreight service for. What did well and what did badly during the pandemic, and have the volumes been back to pre-pandemic levels for all your verticals now?
Yeah, great question, because what we saw during 2020 and the beginning of 21 was that the hardest hit we saw within our automotive vertical. A lot of automotive companies had a huge reduced tonnage uplift on air. On the other hand, where we saw the pandemic was extending and extending, where we always hoped, hey, we will see a light at the end of the tunnel, every month it was again delayed in the recovery. There we saw that the high-tech industry was picking up massively. That all has to do people working from home. They need laptops. They need screens. So we saw on the high-tech vertical an increase of tonnage, and there automatically that was of course different origins, different destinations, capacity decline on the passenger network, and that's why we had to design the sky capacity with PAX freighters, still with PAX operating, and with our full freighter programs to deliver the services. But those two, the automotive huge decline, increase in high tech, and over the last month we see that automotive is picking up quickly. The chip industry can deliver more orders. Are they on the level as what especially the automotive market need? No, but you will see that in the upcoming months and probably during the year of 2022, that demand will keep growing on the automotive side.
Going forward, how significant will be your cross-border e-commerce cargo for CEVA Logistics?
That is growing so fast, and the percentages of e-commerce was even growing faster than everybody thought about it. But that all had to do also that people were working from home, ordering from all the platforms, so the e-commerce was having a huge kick. And you see the development of the e-commerce companies looking for air capacity is daily still growing, and we don't see that will stop in the upcoming years. So at least a huge percentage of the global air volumes will come from e-commerce.
Peter, on to my last question. Do you think freighters made the capacity will play a critical role to global air freight industry even after the full belly capacity comes into play with the return of full wide-body, long-haul passenger services?
No, I really believe that the freighters will maintain playing a critical role in the future, because incidents like the COVID pandemic took place. We have to adjust, but now that we are already more than 1.5 years ahead, you will see that if the passenger networks are coming back, will they come back with the same number of flights on a daily basis? Will they operate on the cargo routes that the capacity is needed? Those passenger airlines will select destinations that the people want to go on holiday. So you will see much more lesser destinations that are not particular cargo destinations. So you will see that with the increase of GDP, people spending, air freight, also in correlation to the ocean problems there are. So you will see a shift of modalities from ocean to air. If there are still issues going on, you just mentioned containers, port congestions, etc., high container rates, that sometimes air became a very attractive and a good alternative for the supply people to change the methodology of transport. So I really don't foresee that the full freighter capacity will have a less impact if the passenger network is coming back, because still there is a huge demand, and I believe that the demand will foresee for the upcoming years.
Peter, it was such a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for your time.
Of course, thanks for the invite, and have a great day.
That was Peter Penseel, Chief Operating Officer, Airfreight at CEVA Logistics. I hope you enjoyed watching this interview. If you like what we do, please do share it among your networks. Also, if you're not a subscriber of our YouTube channel, please do subscribe now and click the bell icon so that you do not miss any of our new videos. Join me next Monday as I bring a new guest for a one-to-one conversation here in Cargo Masterminds, presented by cargo.one. Until next Monday, take good care of yourself and have a great week ahead. Thank you.